Welcome back to another episode of Bob Cooks Everything. Today we're going to be cooking up some air-fried beef jerky. We're going to start off with our meat. I picked up some London Broil at the supermarket. This is basically any top round will work. I like the London Broil because it's already shaped very well for you to slice it. So we're just going to cut off some excess fat because that is just going to give extra moisture in your beef jerky that you don't need. I'm going to cut my London Broil in half, and then I'm going to start slicing it against the grain. As you can see here, there's actually some decent marbling in here when you're cutting against the grain. I'm cutting about 1/4 inch thick. And I'm going to go all the way down. As you can see, those slices are all pretty consistent. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Now once we have our meat all sliced up, we're going to move on to the marinade. So I got all of my ingredients set out. And to start us off, we're going to have some low sodium soy sauce. You can switch this out for those coconut aminos, which are a healthier alternative, but I didn't have any on hand, so I used the soy. We're also going to throw in some Worcestershire sauce, some dark soy sauce, now for our dry ingredients, we got some onion powder, some minced onions. I didn't show it here, but I also threw in some garlic powder. We got some white pepper, some salt, and to finish it off, we have a good amount of red pepper flakes. This is going to bring a little bit of heat to your beef jerky. If you don't like it spicy, you can use a little less, but I do recommend using them. Now we're going to start tossing our meat in there. Once you have it all in there, mix it up nice and well so everything is covered. You can also do this in a Ziploc bag, plastic bag, anything works really. Once we have it all incorporated, we're going to close our lid up and throw it in the fridge overnight. Now the following day, we're going to pull out our marinated meat. We're going to throw down a few layers of paper towels. We really want to dry this meat off before we start the cooking process. It's going to make it go a lot faster and a lot smoother. So I'm laying every single one of these out individually on a paper towel. As you can see here, this can be a little lengthy process, but you definitely need to do it. Otherwise your beef jerky won't dehydrate well. So I spread them all out on one side, and then I'm going to pat them down with some paper towels on the other side. And then I'm going to flip them and do the same again to get them nice and dry. Well, they don't need to be bone dry, but you do want to get as much of that moisture off as possible. As you can see here, I can toss it around in my hand and not much is getting on my hands. That's when you know you're pretty much good to go. Now I've done beef jerky in my air fryer before, and the way mine is set up is just the bottom and then a rack, so there's not much space to lay your beef jerky pieces down flat. So I came up with a fun idea to use paper clips to hang them on the rack because I've seen that done before in ovens to make beef jerky. You're going to pull the paper clip apart, put it into your meat like you're baiting a hook. And then we're going to hook that onto our rack. You'll see it done better later on. Once you get the hang of it, you'll get moving pretty quickly, as you can see here, and you're going to load up your rack with all of your slices. I recommend putting the hook more towards the middle, especially if your rack isn't that tall. You don't want too many of your beef jerky pieces touching the bottom, otherwise it's going to be hard for them to dehydrate. Once we have them all on the rack, we're going to toss that into our air fryer basket. We're going to toss that into our air fryer and we're going to set it to dehydrate. Then we're going to set the temperature to 165. And mine automatically does 6 hours, but these are only going to take about 3 hours or so you don't need to change the time, just keep an eye on it. So one trick I like to do, after about 30 minutes, your meat is going to release a lot of juices. So I like to pull my basket out, pull the rack out, and dump all the excess juices, so the pieces of meat that were hanging down aren't sitting in the juices and they are able to properly dehydrate. So I went for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. You probably could have pulled them out of 2.5 hours. I checked on them, and you can go as long as 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever you like. But I don't plan on keeping these for days and weeks. I'm probably going to eat most of them in the next couple days, so this is definitely long enough. As you can see, they came out great. The meat is almost completely dehydrated. Pulling apart, it's got a great bite, great chew. The flavor is great from that marinade. Yeah, this beef jerky is looking fantastic. If you have an air fryer and you've never tried beef jerky in it, I definitely recommend trying out this recipe. Or if you've done it before and you had the same problem as me, definitely try out these tricks. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. Peace.